Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another HTML and CSS basics tutorial. In this video, we're going to be mostly focusing on the menu and making that look pretty cool. So we might hit the body a little bit later, but I doubt it. Now, when we're doing this menu, we're going to be really focusing on the responsive theme that I mentioned in the first video and how key a responsive menu is. So as you remember, possibly from our last video, at the moment, our website looks like this. Okay? It's pretty basic. It's just a simple max width and then a header bar that, if you go down, is fixed to the top. So in this tutorial, we're going to add a little button up here, or our menu, and then we're going to add a button up there to decide when we want to toggle this, toggle like a menu to drop down. Let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is, if you'll notice, our website here has this, it's not really see-through, and I always like my menus to be a touch see-through to give your user a little bit more, flowy experience, I guess, to make it seem like it's more part of the page instead of just some ad or something. So we're going to say opacity is equal to 0.9. This will give it a touch of opacity stuff. So if we refresh, scroll down, as you can see, you can vaguely see it behind it. And that works great for giving your user a little bit better experience. Let's get back to our website. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this website back up to full screen, relatively full screen, and we are going to add our menu bar when it's not responsive. So in our menu bar right here, this is what we have the max width set to. We are going to add a secondary thing inside of that menu bar. That is going to be a UL, so a list, an unordered list. Now, ULs are unordered lists, as I just said. So usually they have dots, which I'll be back in just a quick second. Sorry about that, I just needed to pull up a resource. So normally when we make ourselves an LI, or a UL, we use, it'll have bullets and it will be thing by thing. It'll be vertical. We want this to be horizontal. So we're gonna add 4 LIs, which is list item, to our page as things. So the first one we're gonna set to be home. Second one we're gonna set to be products. Sorry, it's raining. Third one we're going to set to be services, I guess. And then the fourth one we're going to set to be contact. Just some basic 4 links for our website. So once we have that built, we're going to class our UL as our menu, so we can apply some styles to it. So class, this is the menu. So menu. Actually, we're going to say menu list because we might do some other stuff with menus later. Menu list, and that's done. Now let's go edit our menu list. So go down here and say .menu list. And we're going to add a few basic things. First things first, we want to make sure that it doesn't have bullets. So we're going to say list -style -type none. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that these LIs within the UL aren't vertical instead of horizontal. So how we say look for something and then look for stuff in it is we say .menu list. So the first thing we want to look for is the menu list. The second thing we want to look for within the menu list are LI elements. So now we can apply this to the LIs. We're going to say display, inline instead of block, which is what they're defaulted to. So if we head back to here, give a refresh. Did I forget to set the Z index on this menu? I believe I did. So I can go to our menu list here. Hold on. I just have to make sure that this is working. So I figured out a problem. A few things. Well, first things first, you have to set our color to FFFFFF to make sure that it's white. So if we go back into our page, as you can see, and refresh, but it's down here. And that's because when we go into here, since this UL is a block element, and this H1 is a block element, they don't go in line with each other. But anyways, we want to flip this over to the right anyway, so I guess that's an okay thing. So now we're going to create a secondary div. We're going to call this the menu. This is the biggest part of our menu. So menu, and we're going to replace our UL in that div. No, my mistake. I copied the wrong thing. pop that down at the end of the UL. Save it. We can now edit that. So first things first, say dot menu, position, absolute. So this means it won't be relative to anything else in this thing. We could set position fixed, but we're just going to do absolute right now and see if it works. So first things first, we're going to do is set our left or right to be 10 or 0 pixels from the right. We want it to be up close and personal to the right. Number 2, we're going to want to set it now. If we refresh our page, as you can, where'd it go? Where Johnny? Oh, it's still right there. Give me a sec again. Sorry for all the breaks in this. It's just sometimes it gets a little. Oh well, I really think of this. I put this div here and I copied it, so we have to delete this div, and now it should work. Oh, and I did do a quick thing with the CSS. I said top 0 pixels just to. So as you can see, now it's over there. And you're like, hey, it's over there, but there's no padding. We can fix that by setting our right to 10 pixels. Pretty simple. As you can see now, there's a touch of padding. It's still a little weird, so we're going to set the top to -5 pixels. This will put it up, and now it looks pretty centered. There are ways to center things with CSS, but they're not worth covering right now. We might get to them in a little later video. As you can see, it's over there. Now if we shrink down, it works perfectly, but when we get to this, ooh. So right about here, we're going to want to set our right at about like 600 pixels, I guess. We're gonna want our set. We're gonna want to set this so it turns into a 3-bar that you click display. How do you do that? We asked. We're gonna use something called a media query. So if we go down here, we're gonna say at media. This will target the following CSS inside of this. Will only be applied when there's when something is applied. So for that thing to be applied, we're going to set our max width to be 600 pixels. Close that and add these. Now there's a few things you should know about how CSS is read. Anything that is above, so whatever's below, anything else will be read, will be applied second. So if I have this menu and I change our right to 20 pixels within this media query, since this is below this, it'll change the right to 20 pixels and make it different. So in here, we're going to set a few things. First things first is we're going to have in our dot menu, give me a sec. In our dot menu, we're going to make sure that our display is none. Don't want to be able to see that menu at all whatsoever. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to say width is 100%, height is 100% again, and our background color is white. So, and I'll explain why we're doing this later. Next, we're going to go to our dot menu list, and we're going to make sure that it's li, sorry, is display block. So this will put them into a vertical list instead of a horizontal list when we go down to a smaller size. And I'll once again explain this later. Now we're going to do some weird stuff with some CSS using some things called labels. So the first thing you're going to need to do is grab yourself a triple bar or whatever you want to open the menu. So what I'm using is a Unicode character, and we're going to pop that right outside the menu right here. See, triple bar. Then we're going to put that into a div. I'm going to class that div as toggle. Close that, take that div, put it outside there. That's our toggle. Now inside the toggle, we're going to say label. You rarely use these. And then inside the label, for, and we're going to set what we want. So we're going to say for menu, or for menu toggle, because that's what we're going to call it. Then we're going to take this side of the label and put it right there. Now you're curious, what does this label do? So what a label does is it toggles a checkbox or a radio button. So now we're going to, of course, create ourselves a checkbox right above the menu. So input type is equal to checkbox. checkbox. Pretty simple. Then we're going to set an ID of our checkbox. ID is equal to menu toggle. Now when it says label 4, it's going to search for an ID, which is another place where IDs are more useful than classes. So it'll search for menu toggle, and it will toggle that. It'll say, if it's unchecked, turn it to checked. If it isn't, uncheck it. So now we are going to have some fun with this. What we're going to do is we're going to first make sure that this checkbox never displays. So we're going to go into here and say hashtag checkbox. We don't want to, we'll just put it top, minus 1000 pixels, position fixed. So you'll never be able to see the checkbox, but it will be getting toggled. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set a rule that says when the checkbox becomes toggled, display our menu. So we can go into there, I'm going to say, alright. And this will be in the media because we don't want it to do this normally. We're going to say if hashtag, I don't think I named it checkbox. I named it menu toggle. There we go, sorry. Hashtag menu toggle. There we go. So now we go hashtag menu toggle. If menu toggle is checked, and then this is another thing, as you know, it's this with the menu toggle is outside of the menu div. So we're going to use something called we're going to use a plus here, say to indicate that it's right next to it. It's right above it. Our menu toggle, and remember this is really key. Your toggle, your input has to be directly above the menu, like this. Div or checkbox menu. You can't have anything in between them. I mean, you can have space, but you can't have any tags in between them. So menu toggle checked plus dot menu display block to display it. And I forgot to set where we wanted to put the positions on this. We're going to say top 0 pixels, left 0 pixels. I think this will work. Let's go do a refresh. Our thing isn't showing. Ah, yes, duh. That's because we forgot to set some styles for our menu toggle, or for our toggle here. Dot toggle. So we're gonna head back into here and say dot toggle. Background color, or just color, is equal to FFFFFF. Next, we're gonna say position fixed, because we want to make sure that it's always fixed. We're going to say top minus 5 pixels, or top should do 0 pixels, and then right 10 pixels. Now if you go back into here and say F5, we have our toggle, but that's really small. So we're going to fix that. We're going to say font, because it is technically a character. Font size is equal to 100 pixels. Go back to your thing. Okay, now it's way too big, so you can just adjust this. We're going to do 80, I think, for this. 70. And remember, right now we're just positioning it and figuring out what looks good. That looks pretty good. Click it. As you can see, it didn't like us. It did do these properly though. But it didn't like us. It did not like us at all. So, let's fix that. Give me a second to figure out how to fix it. Alright, so I've got 1 minute and 10 seconds left, so I'm going to tell you how we did it quickly. We just added position fixed to our menu, and that fixed that all. Next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to go into our menu, and as you can see, we have our menu list. So we're going to set in our menu list our color to black. And we're definitely going to cover more of this in the next video, but for now I just want to show you what it looks like. As you can see, that's what it looks like. We're going to make the fonts bigger in the next video, and we're going to add a close menu button in the next video. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.